The 7th Special Forces Group, Airborne, 7th SFG-A, is an operational unit of the United States Army Special Forces activated on 20 May 1960. It was reorganized from the 77th Special Forces Group, stationed at Fort Liberty, North Carolina. 7th Group, as it is sometimes called, is designed to deploy and execute 9 doctrinal missions: unconventional warfare, foreign internal defense, direct action, counterinsurgency, special reconnaissance, counterterrorism, information operations, counterproliferation of weapons of mass destruction, and security force assistance. The 7th SFG-A spends much of its time conducting foreign internal defense, counter-drug, and training missions of friendly governments' armed forces in South, Central, and North America and the Caribbean. 7th SFG-A participated in Operation Urgent Fury in Grenada in 1983 and in Operation Just Cause in Panama in 1989. The 7th SFG-A has, like all the SFGs, been heavily deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan in the War on Terror. The 7th SFG has lost more SF soldiers in the global war on terrorism than any other SFG. The 77th Special Forces Group, Airborne, was activated at Fort Bragg, NC on 25 September 1953 under the command of Lieutenant Colonel Jack T. Shannon. Its motto was, anything, anytime, anyplace, anyhow. The group built rapidly from an initial strength of only 200 soldiers. The 77th Group wore their famous green beret headgear for the first time in a retirement parade for ex-VI Airborne Corps Commander M.G. Joseph B. Cleland in June 1955. In the fall of 1955, it deployed into Operation Sage-Brush in Louisiana, the largest military exercise in the U.S. since World War II. The 77th carried out unconventional warfare operations, the first time this had been employed in a U.S. military exercise. In 1955-56, the 77th Group conducted 2 cycles of mountain warfare training at Camp Hale, Colorado, known as EX Exercise LODESTAR Able and LODESTAR Baker. In April 1956, the 77th Special Forces Group transferred 4 detachments to the Pacific Theater to serve as the cater for the 1st Special Forces Group, Airborne, which activated at Okinawa in June 1957. In 1959, teams from the 77th Special Forces Group began to deploy to Laos under Project Hot Food to forestall communist encroachment in that kingdom. The group also deployed teams to South Vietnam in 1960 to train Vietnamese Rangers and Special Forces personnel. In 1960, the 77th was reorganized and redesignated as the 7th Special Forces Group, Airborne, 1st Special Forces. In the 1960s, the need for mobile training teams exceeded the capability of the U.S. military, so the 7th Group provided the cater for the 3rd Special Forces Group and the 6th Special Forces Group. Since early 2002, the 7th SFG has deployed almost non-stop in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. 7th SFG along with the 3rd Special Forces Group are the 2 SFGs responsible for conducting operations in Afghanistan. The group is also deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom numerous times, but not as often as in Afghanistan. The 7th SFG has lost more SF soldiers in the global war on terrorism than any other SFG. The 7th Group was active early in the Vietnam War, first operating in Laos, Operation White Star, and later in other global Cold War operations in addition to Southeast Asia, Laos, Thailand, and South Vietnam. 7th Group was the first unit in South Vietnam to have a member earn a Medal of Honor, Captain Roger Dahlman. At the same time, Special Forces were expanding into Latin America. In May 1962, the advance party from Company D, 7th Special Forces Group departed for Fort Gillick, Panama, in the Canal Zone to establish the 8th Special Forces Group. In 1965, the 7th Special Forces Group participated in Operation Power Pack in the Dominican Republic. 8th Group was deactivated in 1972, and the unit was redesignated as the 3rd Battalion, 7th Special Forces Group. The entire 7th Special Forces Group was scheduled for inactivation on 1 October 1980 and was unfunded after that in the completed and approved U.S. Army Program Objective Memorandum. The 7th Special Forces Group played an important role in preparing the Honduran military to resist and defeat an invasion from Nicaragua. 7th Group also trained the Honduran military in counterinsurgency tactics, which enabled Honduras to defeat the Honduran communist-backed guerrillas. 7th Special Forces Group also became involved in counter-narcotics operations in the Andean-rich countries of Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and Bolivia. The goal was not just to stop the flow of drugs into the United States, but to stem the violence that resulted from the drug trade in those countries. During the 3 October 1989 coup against Noriega by some of his troops, members of the 7th Group conducted reconnaissance operations near the road that led from the quartel of Battalion 2000 to Panama City, giving the U.S. Southern Command advanced early warning of the elite Panamanian unit moving to rescue Noriega, who was being held captive in the Panamanian Comandancia. Meanwhile, one 7th Group company was being ready to take custody of Noriega. When the coup was over and Noriega was released, that company prepared a raid on the Carcelo Modelo, where American Kurt Muse was being held for operating an illegal radio station that was broadcasting anti-Noriega programming. That mission was later turned over to 1st sfod-c and performed on D-Day during Operation Just Cause. From 19 December 1989 to 31 January 1990, elements of the 7th Special Forces Group participated in Operation Just Cause to restore democracy to Panama. The 7th Group conducted combat operations on D-Day against multiple strategic targets. Over the next 2 weeks, the 7th Special Forces Group conducted many reconnaissance and direct action missions in support of the operation. The 7th SGF was stationed in Hangar 450 at Albrook Air Force Station. The Panamanian radio station, called Radio Nacional, broadcast recordings of pro-Noriega propaganda to encourage the Panamanian population to continue fighting as an insurgency against the Americans. As the 7th SFG High Command wanted the propaganda broadcast to be disabled, a force of 7th SFG operators was sent in to disable the broadcasts. They would be going in with little intelligence. A team of operators flew in on helicopter transports to the radio station and fast roped onto the roof of the 17th-floor building. While a ground team attacked from below, the Americans had speed and surprise on their side. They blew the radio antenna off the roof with explosives and then assaulted the radio station's offices. There was no staff present, and the broadcast source was an automated recording. The operators destroyed the radio equipment with rifle rounds and explosives, causing the automated radio transmissions, which were on the AM band, to cease. The operators then began to exfiltrate, but at one point, they were confronted by an armed civilian security guard, aiming his weapon at them. Not wishing to kill him, they shot him in the shoulder, then treated the injury and turned him over to Panamanian firefighters responding to the fire. The force then safely returned to Hangar 450. After the American Special Forces operatives came back to Hangar 450, they deployed again to destroy the FM broadcasts of pro-Noriega propaganda. The American commandos placed demolition charges, which finally and successfully destroyed the remote FM antenna. After successfully destroying the antenna, the broadcasts were finally off the air. When combat operations ceased, Operational Detachments A and fanned out over the entire country, living in villages with the people. 7th Group soldiers restored public utilities such as water and power, while maintaining a watch on the then new Panamanian police force. Non-commissioned officers served as temporary judges and mayors, gaining enormous support from the populace. Since early 2002, the 7th SFG has deployed almost non-stop in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan. 7th SFG, along with the 3rd Special Forces Group, are the two SFGs responsible for conducting operations in Afghanistan. The group is also deployed in support of Operation Iraqi Freedom numerous times, but not as often as in Afghanistan. The 7th SFG has lost more SF soldiers in the global war on terrorism than any other SFG. In 2011, the 7th SFGA relocated from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, to Eglin Air Force Base, Florida, as part of the 2005 base realignment and closure (DARAC) round.